On October 26, 2025, Ohio government actions and news were focused on several key areas: legislative activity, the ongoing impacts of the federal government shutdown, and legal actions related to state regulations. Below is an in-depth, chronological, and detailed account of the day's significant government actions and related developments. Legislative and policy actions. State SNAP emergency funding advocacy *. State Representative Latina Humphrey, D. Columbus, continued her public advocacy for emergency state intervention to protect Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, benefits for 1.4 million Ohioans. Should the federal shutdown extend beyond October 31, 2025? In a formal letter to Governor Mike DeWine, Rep. Humphrey urged the governor to take immediate action to prevent SNAP disruptions, referencing Louisiana's $150 monthly allocation to maintain benefits, and calling for Ohio to exhibit similar leadership. Her recommendations included invoking emergency appropriations through the state's controlling board, tapping into agency reserve funds, and working with food banks and nonprofits to fill gaps. She also introduced House Bill 502, which would ensure funding for SNAP, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF, and the Women, Infants and Children, WIC, program during federal shutdowns. As of October 26, the bill had not yet been scheduled for its first hearing. The governor's office reiterated in a statement to ABC6 that Ohio lacks access to the SNAP benefit payment system and thus could not directly supplement accounts even if it desired to do so, emphasizing the state's role is limited to eligibility verification. Cannabis and hemp legislation. The Ohio House of Representatives approved a significant compromise bill on marijuana and intoxicating hemp products, which would finally grant local governments a share of tax revenue from these sales. This represents a notable step toward resolving long-standing debates over cannabis and hemp regulation in the state. The compromise seeks to balance local needs with state oversight, reflecting the evolving legal landscape for these substances in Ohio. Federal shutdown impacts. Head Start program crisis. The federal shutdown's effects continue to threaten Ohio's Head Start programs, which provide early learning, nutrition, and family support for low-income children. According to the Ohio Head Start Association, 7 providers had exhausted federal funds, putting 38 children at imminent risk of losing services if Congress did not act to restore funding by November 1-2. The association called on Congress to end the shutdown or pass a continuing resolution, warning that 940 staff could lose their jobs and thousands of working families would lose critical childcare and support. Enforcement and legal actions. Intoxicating hemp product ban stay *. In the legal realm, a Franklin County judge on October 26 extended a restraining order that had previously paused Governor Mike DeWine's ban on intoxicating hemp products, allowing these products to remain on the market until at least December unless new legislation is enacted. This judicial action is a direct response to ongoing enforcement disputes between state agencies and the hemp industry, signaling continued legal and regulatory uncertainty in Ohio's hemp market. Governor's actions. Recent bill signings. Governor DeWine signed several bills into law on October 20, 2025. While none appear to have been signed on October 26, his earlier actions included bills sponsored by State Representative Dontavius L., House Bill 57, though specific provisions of these bills were not detailed in the available information. Public events and statements. Public advocacy from state officials. State Rep. Latina Humphrey's open letter to Governor DeWine and her HB 502 proposal featured prominently in public discourse, highlighting the urgency of protecting vulnerable Ohioans from the consequences of the federal shutdown. Similarly, the Ohio Head Start Association's public statements underscored the human cost of the shutdown, especially for young children and low-income families. These calls for action generated media attention and public debate over the state's role in mitigating federal crises. Summary table of key actions, October 26, 2025. Area Action Event Agency Official involved key details. SNAP Advocacy Letter to Gov. DeWine, HB 502 introduced Rep. Latina Humphrey. DeWine admin urged emergency state funding for SNAP, WIC. HB 502 not yet. Cannabis Hemp House approves compromise bill. Ohio House of Representatives. Local govts to get share of cannabis, hemp tax revenue fall. Head Start crisis, demand for federal action, Ohio Head Start Association, 3738 children at risk. 7 providers nearing shutdown 2. Hemp ban stay restraining order extended Franklin County Court, intoxicating, hemp products legal until December absent new law 5. Governor's activity, recent bill signings, Gov. Mike DeWine bills signed October 20, including HB 57.3. Conclusion. October 26, 2025, was a day of urgent advocacy, legislative compromise, and legal maneuvering in Ohio state government. The unresolved federal shutdown remained a central concern, threatening both SNAP benefits and Head Start programs, prompting state legislators and advocacy groups to call for emergency measures to protect vulnerable populations. 1-2. The legislature advanced a compromise on cannabis and hemp policy, while the courts extended a stay on the governor's hemp ban, leaving regulatory questions open. No major new bills were signed by the governor on this date. 3. Overall, state officials and agencies were largely reactive to federal inaction and industry legal challenges, seeking to maintain stability for Ohioans in the face of ongoing uncertainty.